What if I told you that one of the biggest failures in gaming history is actually a success story in disguise? This console was buried, declared dead, and forgotten by almost everyone. But then, something incredible happened. This isn't just the story of a flop, it's the story of a phoenix rising from the ashes. Stick around until the end, because the second act is the story of redemption that you won't want to miss. This is the epic fall and the unlikely rise of the Atari Jaguar. Let's set the scene. It's 1993. The 16-bit war between Sega and Nintendo is raging. And from the sidelines, a fallen king of gaming tries to reclaim its throne. Atari, the name behind Pong and the 2600, was now a ghost of its former self. Their answer? The Jaguar. A console they boldly marketed as the world's first 64-bit system.
8 million colors. Plus, the Jaguar games are so intense because the Jaguar system delivers real-world, real-time gameplay.
Do the math, they said. And on paper, the math was impressive. Now, I'll be honest. I was one of the people who bought the hype. I saved up and got a Jaguar in the early 90s, and while everyone else was getting ready for the PlayStation, I was deep in the Jag's weird little library. And you know what? I loved it. I spent countless hours in the moody, terrifying corridors of Alien vs. Predator. I blasted my way through the psychedelic chaos of Tempest 2000. And I felt like a total badass piloting a giant stompy mech in Iron Soldier, and Doom on the Jaguar, by far the best home console version. Well, that is until the PlayStation port came around. I've actually got full gameplay videos of all 4 of these best Jaguar games here on the channel if you want to see why they hooked me. But here's the problem. For every one of these amazing gems, there were 10 games like this. The launch lineup was weak. The controller was a bulky, confusing mess, and the marketing felt really desperate.
Good enough? With the Atari Jaguar system, 64 bits, 3D graphics, and CD quality sound, how can you be satisfied with good enough? Do you think you're good enough to play me?
Yeah.
For most people, the math just didn't add up. Then came the final nail in the coffin, the PlayStation and Saturn, arriving in 1995, and they completely demolished the Jaguar with their real power and amazing games. By 1996, it was all over. Atari was gone, and it just broke my gaming heart that the Jaguar became a punchline and a joke, with only about 250,000 units sold worldwide. It was one of the most spectacular face plants in gaming history, and the interwebs is full of hate against this old system. I don't know, maybe some of it was deserved. Even as a Jaguar fanboy, I have to admit it, but it still stings and felt like the unceremonious end of something that should have turned out differently. And that should have been the end of the story. But this is where our story gets good, because Atari's fierce gaming feline didn't stay dead. No, it has 9 lives. Because then in 1999, a miracle happened. Hasbro, who at the time owned the Atari name, did something unbelievable. They released the Jaguar's rights to the public. Anyone could now develop for it. And that's when the fans stepped in to finish what Atari never could. And add to this, that as the years went by, the console's rarity and its underdog status made it a holy grail for retro gaming collectors. A dedicated community of programmers and fans refused to let the dream die. They started creating new games and are still doing so right now, today. And these aren't just simple demos. We're talking full, polished, physical cartridges with boxes and manuals. And the craziest part? These new homebrew games often look and play better than the originals. Why? Because these developers finally unlocked the Jaguar's true potential, driven out of their pure passion. Tools like the Skunk board and the Jaguar game drive made it easy to play this new library. The console even got featured in a compilation for modern gaming platforms titled Atari 50, the Anniversary Celebration, introducing it to a whole new generation. This really brought it full circle, and with what was once a symbol of failure is now a thriving niche, kept alive by nostalgia, crazy passion, and love for this interesting and remarkable system. I mean, just look at how the sentiment of videos about the Jaguar on YouTube have evolved over the years. From the angry video game nerds' hilarious roasting of the Jaguar from back in 2010, to the recent Let's Save the Atari Jaguar video by Sega Lord X. I mean, heck, even many of the most popular videos on my own small channel are focused on the Jaguar, which is amazing given the breadth of different retro consoles and games available. Even retro gamers who don't have the original hardware can still enjoy the Jaguar's complete library to experience its highs and the lows for themselves, quickly and easily through emulation. Not so many years ago, finding a decent Jaguar emulator was tough, and now just Google BigPEmu and download this excellent emulator, and you'll be warped into the mid-1990s 64-bit gaming bliss in moments. For skeptics or fans of the Jaguar, I encourage you to give it a go and see what made it tick. I mean, when I stumbled across BigPEmu a couple of years ago and was able to rediscover all of the Jag's classic games again, it felt like being a kid on Christmas morning, opening the best present ever. So my heartfelt thanks goes out to Rich Whitehouse for his brilliant work creating it. So did the Jaguar win the console wars? Absolutely not. It was a disaster. But its legacy is so much more than that. It's a story about preservation and perseverance. It's about the gaming community, which saw the potential where a corporation only saw loss. It's proof that even the biggest failures can still find a purpose and a group of people who will value and support them. So the Jaguar's final chapter hasn't been written yet because its fans are still writing it, and me, honestly, I couldn't be happier. But what do you think? Did you own a Jaguar back in the day? What's your favorite original game or homebrew title? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip through gaming history, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and ring the bell so you won't miss what's next. Alright my friends, this is the Retro Gaming Boss signing out. Thanks for watching and stay jagged. See you on the next one.